The arena roared. Kenji had failed 6 times before. He planned to make it 7.
They never look beyond the fall. 7 years, and they still buy it.
His opponent stared in confusion. Kenji was already on the ground, faking defeat for the 7th time. Then the barrier shattered. Dark figures dropped into the arena, weapons aimed at the Kage viewing box.
Not the exam. This is real. I have to move.
Before the first scream faded, Kenji had already moved. An agent behind a pillar. Silent takedown. 1 agent down, but a dozen more closed in on the Kages. The Hokage stood, but Lady Reiko was already under assault. The leader, Daisuke, grinned. His blade crackled with stolen lightning techniques.
If I don't act, they die. But if I act...
His hand moved toward the weighted band on his wrist. 7 years of hiding, and 1 heartbeat that could break it all.
Not yet. There's still a chance to stop them quietly.
He slipped through the chaos, dropping 2 more agents before they could reach the Kages, but the attackers kept pouring in. And then Daisuke found his target. The scarred leader lunged at Lord Enma, pinning the Hokage against the railing with a blade of stolen thunder.
The strongest Kage. You are just an old man who got too comfortable.
If I hold back now, he dies. All of them do.
Kenji's fingers closed around the wristband. He tore it off. The band hit the stone floor with a cratering impact. The ground itself seemed to flinch. He didn't speak, but his chakra screamed louder than any words. Gold energy erupted. He stepped forward, and for the first time, the agents hesitated. In the space between heartbeats, Kenji vanished. What remained was a golden blur tearing through the assassins.
7 years of stillness. Now every cell knows what to do.
A palm to the sternum, an elbow to the temple. 3 bodies hit the ground before the first had finished falling. Daisuke whipped around, blade crackling. The blur resolved into a boy with quiet eyes and fists that hummed like an oncoming storm.
Who? No. What are you?
Kenji didn't answer. His response was a fraction of a second, and then Daisuke was pinned to the stone, blade shattered. The remaining agents broke. They turned to flee, but the golden flash was already ahead of them. Silent, final.
That was a Chunin.
Number. He is not.
And then there was silence. Kenji stood alone among 18 bodies, not a single breath out of place. The 5 Kages descended into the arena, their presence alone hushing the crowd into a tense silence.
Who are you? Explain this power. Now.
They can't be allowed to dig. Not yet.
Your silence confirms it. You are a spy, an infiltrator planted to earn trust.
If I wanted to be Hokage, I could pass that exam. I chose not to.
The statement hit like a physical blow. Even the stoniest Kage shifted.
Until we determine the truth, you will be detained. Do you understand?
This was always the price. Better a cell than a graveyard.
Anbu moved in. Kenji offered his wrists without a word. The seals activated with a cold hum. As they led him away, his words hung over the arena, a claim no one could ignore, and a secret no one could yet name. The cell was deep. The seals on the walls hummed with a frequency that dulled chakra to a whisper.
7 years. We trained together. You never said a single word. Do you think I would have turned you in? Was I that worthless to you?
It was never about trust. I had reasons. That's all I can say.
That's not enough. My best friend is a weapon I never knew existed. What am I supposed to do with that?
Kenji looked away. In the silence, Hiro's footsteps faded down the corridor. In the Kage Council chamber, a discovery stopped the debate cold.
This symbol, it's the mark of the exiled shadow, the one who vanished before the war.
If that boy carries that bloodline, this is not a simple infiltration. This is a legacy that was supposed to be dead.
The name of the exiled Kage hung unspoken in the air, and with it, a threat none of them could yet measure. The Anbu dragged Kenji before the council. The symbol lay on the table like a judgment.
This mark belongs to your bloodline. Admit it.
They traced it back. I can't give them more. Not yet.
Kenji met their stares with silence. Lady Raiko's hand crackled with lightning. She demanded direct mind extraction.
Number, we will not become what we fear. You have until dawn to reconsider.
Back in his cell, night came. The seals dimmed as the moon rose. A spark of chakra, barely visible, unspooled the seals from within. The cuffs fell with a soft clink. Before the guard rotation, he became a shadow slipping through stone. Morning revealed an empty cell and a broken seal. The alarm tore through the village. By noon, every Kage had signed the order. Kenji was a fugitive, and the search had no borders. Through moon-shadowed ravines, a figure moved with ghostly silence. Kenji knew these hidden paths like his own heartbeat. Deep under the mountain, a single lantern lit the stone chamber. The old man did not turn. He already sensed his grandson.
You made it. I was beginning to worry they'd hold you longer.
They held each other briefly. Then the exile's face returned, hard, unreadable.
There is something you must hear. The attack on the exam. It was my design.
His design? The whole attack? Those agents almost killed Lord Enma.
I staged it to break the stalemate. A threat is coming, and the world needs a new unifier.
You gambled with lives for a title. I never asked to be your weapon.
You weren't meant to stay hidden. The squabbles of Kages will look like children's games soon.
Kenji's chakra flickered, barely contained. He didn't walk away. He didn't accept, but he stayed. The old man reached into his cloak. Not for a weapon, but for a scroll that smelled of cedar and thyme.
This was written by the first Kage, a pact to seal what could never be killed.
These symbols, they're older than the villages themselves.
In 90 days, the seal fails. Every village, every person will be consumed, unless the Kages unite.
So this was never about power. It was about breeding a peacetime general.
It was, because no one else would. You were honed for this, Kenji, the world's only chance.
You could have told me. Instead, you made me a fugitive and a pariah.
Would you have believed? Or would you have hidden deeper? The exam was the only stage grand enough to force their eyes open.
Kenji stared at the map. The darkness spreading across it was not ink, it was a countdown. He still despised the manipulation, but for the first time, he felt the weight of 90 days pressing against his chest.
I will do it, but not as your puppet. I will walk into that council and tell them the truth myself.
If you tell them all of it, they will fear you more. Fear makes tyrants of good men.
His hand is shaking. The same hand that signed that scroll decades ago.
In that tremor, Kenji saw the cost, the years his grandfather had already paid.
Then I will give them just enough to listen. The rest stays mine until they prove they deserve it.
You are already a better leader than I ever was. Take this. It will open the first door.
Kenji took the scroll. The wax seal bore the mark of the exiled Kage, his bloodline undeniable.
Go before the hunt closes in. And remember, you are not the weapon. You are the will that wields it.
I will come back. With the Kages behind me, or not at all.
The mountain swallowed his figure. When he emerged, it was not as a fugitive, but as a herald carrying the world's last hope. At the gates of the Kage Tower, Kenji knelt. No resistance, no evasion, only the scroll held out like a white flag.
I am the fugitive you seek, but I didn't come to run. I came to speak.
He broke the wax seal. The scroll unrolled, and the Kages leaned forward as one.
This seal, it's genuine. But a bloodline doesn't erase a crime.
Then, test me. Any trial you design, I will pass. If I fail, You conceal my chakra forever.
You would gamble everything on our judgment? Why?
Because this isn't about me. Something is coming. And I need you to see that before the 90 days run out.
The chamber fell silent. The 4 other cages exchanged glances. Then Lord Enma stood.
We will confer. If a trial is to be set, it will test more than your strength. Return at dawn.
Anbu escorted him out, but no cuffs touched his wrists. The trial had not begun, but the doors were open. At the first light, Kenji stepped back into the council chamber. The Kages were already seated.
They expect me to beg. I'll give them something else.
He closed his eyes, and a pulse of chakra rolled outward, a controlled pressure that made the lamps flicker.
I am not here to fight you, but I will not be dismissed as a child.
We do not need a display. We need to know your limits and whether you can lead.
Then let the trial prove it. 3 tests. Wisdom, combat, and 1 more that only the Hokage will decide.
A secret test. He's testing more than my strength. He's testing my soul.
Lord Enma nodded. The terms were set. The first trial would begin at noon.
I accept, but I ask that the arena be opened. Let the village see what I am and what I am not.
The Kage exchanged glances. A public trial meant no turning back, but Kenji had already chosen his ground. At noon, the council chamber became a war room, maps unrolled, pieces placed.
They want textbook maneuvers. I'll give them a lesson instead.
His first move abandoned the center, sacrificing it to misdirect.
A commander's mind is a pattern. Break the pattern, and you break the man.
The strategists adjusted, tightening their flank. Kenji smiled. He had already seen the next 3 variations.
They think I am fleeing. They'll chase right into the trap.
With a single reposition, he turned their advance into an encirclement. Gasps filled the room.
It's not about power. It's about reading the board before the battle begins.
The lead strategist stared at the board. His pieces had nowhere to move. Kenji had conquered without a single direct clash.
You fight like a Kage before you throw a punch. That is rare.
The second trial moved to the training ground. Lady Raiko already stood in the center.
I won't hold back. Let's see if you can survive lightning.
Lightning is fast, but predictable. A shield tuned to the frequency will nullify it.
Her storm crackled. Kenji raised a chakra barrier that absorbed each bolt, dissipating them into harmless sparks. She pressed with a flurry, but he didn't counter. When the dust settled, they stood at an impasse.
You could have struck. Why didn't you?
This isn't about winning. It's about proving I can stand with you, not against you.
Then Lord Enma stepped forward. Flames roared around him, but Kenji met them head-on. Through the inferno, Kenji weaved a path. His palms stopped inches from Lord Enma's chest, a touch that could have been a blow.
You held back. That takes more strength than killing.
Before sunrise, Lord Enma summoned Kenji to the memorial garden. The stones remembered names Kenji had only read in scrolls.
I have one last question. Not for the arena, for my own judgment.
He's not testing my power. He's testing my purpose.
What is the purpose of power?
To protect those who cannot protect themselves. That's why I hid my strength. To keep the village from tearing itself apart over a weapon they didn't need.
The Hokage studied him for a long moment. Then, a quiet smile broke the stern lines of his face.
You have passed. Not because you are strong, but because you know when not to be.
The trials are over, but half the village still sees a ghost, not a man.
Even as dawn broke, a group of Jonin gathered in the shadows. Word of Kenji's lineage had spread, and not all of it was welcome. The council would announce his verdict, but someone else was already writing a very different judgment. Kenji walked alone through the narrow market street. The shadows lunged first, 5 Jonin, blades drawn, no warning.
Cards who can't accept a ghost. They won't even make me sweat.
3 heartbeats. 5 bodies hit the stone. Not a single killing blow. Kenji stood over them, barely breathing hard. The lead Jonin coughed blood, glaring up. His hands trembled, not from pain, but rage.
Finish it. If you think I am a threat, prove you have the courage to end me.
The Jonin demanded death with his glare. Kenji turned his back.
The village needs every blade, even yours. I won't be the one to break us further.
Murmurs rippled through the onlookers. The anger on their faces softened into confusion. By the time the Anbu arrived, the crowd had already formed a shield around him. The Kages heard more than a report. They heard a village beginning to change its mind. At sunset, the Kages stood on the grand balcony overlooking the village. Every ear listened.
This shinobi has proven his worth beyond question. He is no longer a fugitive. He is one of us.
Kenji knelt, head bowed, not from obedience but from respect.
But a title must be earned elsewhere. Before he can stand among us as a candidate, he must prove he can unite the 5 villages.
Unite 5 villages? That's a mission, not a reward.
You will serve as liaison to the other Kages. Go to each village, bridge the gaps, and bring them to the table. Only then will we speak of the future.
I accept. I'll bring them together, or die trying.
The village murmured. Some cheered. Others watched with crossed arms. Trust was not won overnight.
They're testing my patience, but they don't know what's coming. I'll need their full trust before the 90 days end.
As night fell, Kenji was already planning his first journey. The clock on the ancient threat had dropped to 78 days. In the weeks that followed, Kenji rode to 3 villages. Each gate opened after a single sparring match and a single promise.
3 down. But the Earth and Lightning villages still cling to generations of pride.
Their elders crossed their arms. Old wounds did not heal with speeches.
They need proof, not words. Something to shake their certainty.
The proof came without warning. A chakra beast tore through the borderlands, threatening both holdout villages at once. Kenji summoned the 3 allied villages. Their shinobi moved as one.
Forwards. Show them what stands when we aren't divided.
The holdout villages watched their own warriors join the fray. Pride broke against survival. The beast fell. When the dust cleared, 5 village heads stood in a circle for the first time in a century. 71 days remained. Kenji's role as unifier was sealed in the blood of a common enemy. The 5 Kage assembled with a gravity that silenced every whisper. In the shadows, Kenji's grandfather watched with a tired smile.
Kenji of the exiled bloodline, you have united the villages. The council recognizes you as the next Hokage.
Kenji knelt, not from tradition, but to steady the weight now settling on his shoulders.
I accept. Not as a title, but as a vow. And now I must tell you why there are only 60 days left.
He unrolled the ancient scroll. The countdown glowed crimson. 60 days. The chamber erupted. Kages and elders questioned, but Kenji's voice cut through.
A greater enemy is straining against its seal. If we do not stand together, everything ends.
The timer was displayed to the entire village. Silence gave way to resolve. A crowd gathered below the Kage Tower, looking up at their new hope and the ticking doom. 60 days. The burden of a Hokage candidate was no longer a promise. It was a race against annihilation. Without warning, the earth outside the village groaned open. A gargantuan chakra entity rose, black tendrils shredding the sky.
The vanguard. I need to seal it now, with the technique grandfather taught me.
Shinobi from all 5 villages attacked as one. But the creature's hide shrugged off every blade.
Hold the line. I need one clear strike.
He weaved a seal his grandfather had taught in secret. A lattice of golden light wrapped the entity, burning it from within. The creature shrieked and collapsed into the fissure, sealed but not destroyed. Kenji dropped to his knees, veins black with chakra exhaustion. The seal had drained him to the edge.
He gave nearly all of himself. That is the mark of a true Kage.
The combined forces raised a united cry. Not for victory, but for the one who had borne the cost. The timer ticked down, 59 days. The seal was a stopgap, and the true threat still loomed. But now, they faced it together. The village raised victory lanterns. Streets that once would have taken him now carried him.
I was angry because I didn't understand. Now I see the cage you built.
Not a cage, a shield. I couldn't bear to lose anyone else to my secret.
Then let us help you carry it. You don't have to be the lone pillar anymore.
He's right. We'll need more than one pillar, but the worst is still coming.
Before the crowd, Kenji raised a fist. His voice carried a promise heavier than any seal.
I will protect this future, not as a weapon, but as your shield. Together, we face what comes.
The village roared. Behind his smile, Kenji's gaze never left the timer. On the monument, the timer glowed. 58 days. The real enemy was still hidden.
This victory is borrowed time, but I won't waste a single second.
In a small room overlooking the valley, Kenji found his grandfather propped against pillows, his breathing soft but steady.
I laid a heavy path at your feet. You walked it farther than I ever could.
You gave me a reason to stand. Without that, I might still be hiding in plain sight.
That reason was always inside you. I only drew the map. I am proud, Kenji.
Kenji helped him outside, under the old cherry tree that still bloomed despite the approaching shadow.
Even now, these petals don't stop falling. Life insists on its own beauty.
We'll finish what you started. I promise. Not for duty, but because you showed me what it means.
A wrinkled hand covered his own. Neither spoke. The touch said enough.
I don't know if I'll survive what's coming, but I am not afraid. Not anymore.
They sat under the drifting blossoms, 2 generations of sacrifice, and for a moment the countdown felt silent. At dawn, Kenji stood atop the Hokage monument, the village stirring below. The wind carried the scent of cherry blossoms and borrowed time. The ancient timer glowed above the tower, 45 days. Less than half the original count remained.
45 days. Every hour must count double.
Soft footsteps. Hiro stepped up beside him. No words needed. The silence held a year's worth of understanding.
You used to stand alone. Now look, the whole village is standing with you.
Not behind me, beside me. That's the only way we survive.
They exchanged a single nod, the kind forged in trust, not ceremony. The camera pulled back, over rooftops, past the awakening market, toward a dark smear on the horizon. The evil had already begun to stir.
We'll be ready. Not because I am strong, but because they are.
45 days remained. The hidden villages stood united for the first time in a century, and their shield was no longer a boy hiding his power. He was a man who had finally chosen to lead.